Good day, everyone. This is Roy from Roy's Tie-Dye Sci-Fi Corner. Hoping everyone is doing well, and thank you for joining us for episode number 284, Manchester 1999, the Space 1999 convention that is scheduled to be taking place next September in 2026. And with me to discuss this major event for next year is my friend, Mr. Warren Friedrich. Welcome, Warren.
Well, hello, good afternoon, and happy holidays to everybody out there.
Yeah, hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Great to see everybody out there. And it's crazy to think that 2025 is on the wind down, so to speak.
It's also hard to believe that the last time I was actually, I'm not sure if you remember this, Roy, and thanks for having me, by the way, but the last time I was on was your episode number 6. UFO.
That was the last time you were on the show? No.
Yep.
No, you've been on since then. No?
Nope.
I mean, I remember we talked about UFO, and that was episode number 6. I totally remember that.
Yeah. No, I don't think I've done an episode since because we got going with the other things.
We've actually talked about Space 1999, and I've had you on, but I think I've had you on with other folks though. I think maybe.
Yeah, you're right. As a group, I think you're right. Yeah, sorry.
Okay, I know I'm not.
Anyway, it's a pleasure to be here.
Are you trying to test my memory, Warren? At the end of this year, at the end of this turbulent year, which I'm almost so happy that is almost over.
Well, all kidding aside, it's remarkable what you've done here, Roy, because I remember coming on for that episode, and it was right at the pandemic, right? And that's how this all got going. Was you had this vision of bringing people together, during that time, but it's carried on, and it's lived a full life, and thanks to you and all the hard work of yourself and Ross, this is an ongoing thing. It's wonderful to have.
No, I appreciate that. Thanks. Yeah, and actually, the date that the show started, me, Mr. Date Person, was April 3rd of 2020, because the pandemic, everything officially shut down. In fact, I was just talking to Ryan about this today. We were just discussing it because it's like, it seems incredible to think that the pandemic is actually coming up on 6 years when everything kind of just like hit. And that was, at least in this area, March, I believe it was March 18th that everything just shut down. I mean, where I was working at the time, and I was working at a company in Pennsylvania, and they basically said, you know what, you're going to be working remotely. And it just kind of went from there. But yeah. In fact, when it's funny you're saying about that, that time when you were on. I mean, I was trying to jury rig everything. And I think at one point I actually had the camera facing the screen. And I think I was like photographing the screen with, using the iPhone to.
I recall. Yeah, it was quite the setup.
It was a freaking nightmare.
We've come a long way. And thanks to, just experimenting down through the years, both you and I, because we put our heads together for the virtual events, and that's where we discovered StreamYard and how well it works, in comparison to the old Zoom.
Yeah. I mean, Zoom was wonderful for what it did, because in the beginning, if it wasn't for that, none of this would have been happening. And originally, just giving some people some backstory into this, if anybody remembers, with your iPhone back maybe like 6-7 years ago now, you could actually go live with somebody else. I mean, you didn't have to use Zoom or StreamYard. You could actually go live and transmit to them, and they can transmit to you, and then you would be broadcasting. And that was kind of my vision for it. But then what happened was Facebook put the kibosh on that. So you actually needed a third party in order to stream, like as we are doing now. And then that's when I started utilizing Zoom. And then I used Facebook as the number one, which bad call, Ripley, bad call. Should have used YouTube, but that's a whole another story for a whole nother episode. And but anyway, fast forward 284 episodes, and here we are. So thanks everybody for your patience. I know you didn't sign on to hear about that, but you know what? You got more than you bargained for. And here we are. Anyway, before we get started, Warren, I just want to say hi to the folks out there. I I see Francine is joining us from Connecticut. Welcome, Francine. Great to see you out there. As always, thanks for being out there. Also, I see May is joining us from Canada. Welcome, May. David is also joining us. Welcome, David. And David, I apologize. I forget the state that you are in, so please forgive me on that. I'm thinking, is it Massachusetts?
I think David's down east in Canada as well, Ontario somewhere.
No, that's right. You know what? And absolutely. In fact, David is familiar with the area. I think it was Cornwall. I think
Cornwall.
Cornwall that he used to live in, and when Shara and I would go up to Canada, I always think of David when I am in that area. Lou is joining us from Rhode Island.
Hey, Lou, how's it going? Happy holidays.
And I see Hayden is out there. Welcome, Hayden, to the show. I'm not sure where you're at, but thank you for joining us. And I see Mary Angie is out there. Welcome, Mary. And let's see. Hayden is saying, my ears, your mic is hooked up to a potato. Why are you all yapping so much? I'm not trying to be rude, but I'm sorry you're not hearing us well. I apologize. I'm not sure. Hopefully it clears up. If, in fact, everybody else, please let us know if the audio is okay. I apologize if it's not. Hey, and I see Charlene is out there. Welcome, Charlene. Thanks for joining us. And she's saying, we've come a long way, baby.
Thanks, Char. Happy holidays to you and the family.
Thanks, Charlene. Yeah, we definitely have. And I see Randy Lee is joining us from Wisconsin. Welcome, Randy. And I also see Andy Tucker is out there. Welcome, Andy, joining us from California. And I see Maine Mission is out there. I'm not sure who that is, and I apologize.
I know who that is.
Is it Ken?
It's Ken Scott, yeah.
It is Ken Scott. Hey, I got it. Okay. Hey, welcome, Ken. Thanks for joining us. And David is saying, yes, Cornwall was where I was born, now living around Toronto. Yeah, I always think of you, David, when I'm up in that area, because that's near whatchamacallit, in the Thousand, we crossed into the Thousand Islands and everything.
That's interesting because actually in Regina, I live on Cornwall Street.
Oh, geez. There you go. Thanks, Charlene. And Ken's saying hi again. And Andy's saying, sounds good here. Okay, thanks for checking. Appreciate it. Hey, Chris Trice is joining us from the UK. It was you or Indy 4. And let's see, Plum Kitty's out there saying, well, I'm glad that I stumbled upon this. Howdy. Welcome. And I see Jim is out there. Welcome, Jim. And yeah, folks, please let us know where you're at. And Jim's saying he's in Nova Scotia. So appreciate that. Welcome. And thanks for joining. Much appreciated. And
nice, Jim.
I think I covered everybody. Yeah, so welcome. And here we are. So it is actually today is what's the date, Warren? The 28th of December?
28th. It's my niece's birthday. Jim, I just want to mention out there, I've actually got another niece out in Nova Scotia. Busy time of year for my family because it's, of course, Christmas and New Year's coupled with a few birthdays in this week. And my parents' anniversary was yesterday, and my mom's birthday was Christmas Eve. So lots going on here.
Well, happy belated birthday to your mom, and happy belated anniversary to your parents. That's really
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. My parents' wedding anniversary is actually on January 9th. And
okay.
They're going to be celebrating 61 years, which I think
61. Yeah. I posted
what, 66,
67, and I just can't comprehend that. Like, amazing.
And real quick, I see Lefris is out there, and he's hello and thanks for joining us. And he's saying he's in Athens, Greece. Happy 2026. Yeah. See.
Hey Terry.
Welcome.
See you in Manchester. You bet.
Very, very cool. So yeah, I think I got everybody, and so let's get into everything, Warren. So wanted to welcome you to the show. I know you had information that you wanted to share about Manchester, but before we get to that, you had other information you wanted to start off with.
Yeah, for sure, Roy. So I think everybody's aware about a year ago after London, we put out a massive, extensive digital convention booklet. The decision was made to go away from the physical hard copy of a convention booklet, which had been the norm for well over 40, 45 years. but we felt that in today's day and age with the technology, as we were just discussing, that and I think a lot of other events were sort of moving to that digital model as well. So I put out a really nice package about a year ago, and of course the idea all along was that if we ever did another one, we could simply sort of port most of the information over and then add a new section, which is exactly what we did for Los Angeles. So we all came together back in September, as everybody knows, in Burbank. And so we're just completing the Los Angeles version. So we've, of course, added a whole new section on all of the events and activities surrounding Los Angeles, as well as we've come up with sort of a 2025 year in review, because, you know, Roy, there was a lot going on, you know, for the big 50th, right? I mean, over and above this event. So we have an entire section on everything else that was happening, from Wonderfest to Jeffrey Morris's Eagle Obsession documentary, to the big Star Trek Las Vegas, where Nick and Barbara were attendees there, and things like that. So that's going to be ready to go by New Year's Eve. So this Wednesday, everybody out there can be expecting that, and it'll come via a file transfer service. So be watching for it. It's called Smash, just like it sounds, SMASH, and it'll be a big file. Of course, it's not something we can send via email or things like that. It's close to, it's interesting. Your episode number is 284, 285. That's close to the number of pages that we have in this convention booklet, right?
Oh, wow. That's pretty interesting. Yeah, that's pretty extensive. Now, let me ask you a quick question. So you said that this is coming via this third party at Smash. So is it going to, they're going to actually receive this email? They'll have to click on the email and it's going to be like a downloadable link. Is that,
yes,
is that correct? Okay.
Exactly. There'll be a prompt to download your files. You hit that and it'll take a couple minutes, but it'll store it right onto your hard drive. But the thing to keep in mind, though, is that it does expire, this link. So be watching for it. I think it lasts for about 7 days. Worst case, if you miss it, I can always resend it, no problem. But if you could get it in that first week or so, it would just sort of help having to circle back. That's all. But yeah, no, we're really excited. So what I brought along today were just a few highlights from the convention booklet that we could share with everybody real quick.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
And so I'm going to do this. Roy and I still have to do our fair share of fumbling around sometimes technology.
While you're doing that, I just want to say hi to Nick McCarty. Nick is out there. Welcome, Nick. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, Nick.
Good to see you out there.
How's it going? Okay, so did that pop up, Roy?
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
There you go.
Good stuff. Good stuff. So we're going to start off with here, and Roy, if you have any questions, of course, along the way, if you see any comments, just bring them up. But this was our wonderful graphic that Ken Scott, Ken's out there, put together for us to help promote the events. Beautiful, beautiful piece. Representing the 50th anniversary and of course the Los Angeles skyline there. So that's where we start things off. Now, as we move along, this is probably the biggest change over last year. This next slide it's so extensive. I had to actually add a table of contents.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I did hear back from a couple people last year that it was just so massive. It was really hard to know what was coming next and where you were and things. So hopefully this will help a little bit, sort of compartmentalize things right at the beginning of the booklet. Okay.
Gotcha. Yep. I see it's the contents. I'm actually magnifying the screen so I can see it a little bit better too myself. Yeah. Gotcha. Hey, before you go on more, I just want to say hi to Diana. She just popped in. So welcome, Diana. Thanks for joining us. Good to see you out there.
Hey, Diana.
She's in New Jersey.
Yes. Thank you for the pictures for the con booklet, actually, Diana.
Nope. Okay.
Perfect. Okay. So a couple other, I just sort of highlighted some of the new sections. So this was something that we didn't have in the last one, just a sort of a nod to the behind the scenes personnel. on the series. I had something set up and in place for Jerry and Sylvia, as well as all the main cast. And but I was thinking to myself, we didn't really acknowledge, Brian Johnson, Barry Gray, anybody behind the scenes, Keith Wilson. So they have their very own little tribute there.
Yep.
And this is just sort of a generic poster that we had done, but then I added, of course, we had many, many special guests over and above our slate of 9 celebrity guests. We had Jeffrey Morris, of course, Doug Drexler, Jeffrey Mandel, and Kelly Fast. Kelly was amazing. Kelly works for NASA, and she did a panel on her duties and responsibilities with NASA are actually to do with asteroid deflection, near-Earth asteroid deflection.
Yeah, that's kind of scary. And the tie-in, and I know we were talking about this, immediately comes to mind, of course, Collision Course.
Yep.
And then also, of course, End of Eternity. Kind of, sort of. It wasn't really, the asteroid wasn't on a collision course with the moon, but it was out there. But but specifically Collision Course, definitely. I mean,
and Collision Course, yeah. And of course, what's the year 2 one we were just talking about again?
Well, when the Eagle's kind of going through the meteor storm, it would be
Mark of Markanon. Yeah.
You know what, though? There was actually another year 2 episode where there was potentially a collision, and that would be Seance Spectre. It was almost kind of a rehash of Collision Course, because the moon is on a collision course with Tora.
That's true.
So can't forget about that.
Good point.
It's not a habitable planet.
Wow. And, speaking of that episode, of course, you can see right in the middle there, we were so thrilled to be joined by Carolyn Seymour in Los Angeles.
Yeah, Carolyn's lovely. She's very, very nice. In fact, she was on the show maybe about 5 weeks ago, and I had her on to talk about her career. And yeah, she's done a lot of work too. And of course, in that one episode with Ken Hutchinson, she played Eva Lewis. Eva being Sanderson's girlfriend. How the heck did Sanderson wind up with her?
You know what, Roy, more to the point, how the heck did you know that her character's last name was Lewis? I've never heard that before.
Oh, you didn't know that?
No. Was that in the novels? Or in the
actually, it's on our name badge if you take a look.
Really? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. You learn something new every day, hey?
There you go. Hey, I want to say hi to Martin joining us from New York. Welcome. And actually, Martin's really from the UK, but he's in New York right now. And I also want to say hi to Dennis Chevalier joining us from Canada. Welcome, Dennis, as well too. Great to see everybody out there. So thank you for being on. And
welcome to everybody. Great to see such a nice turnout today.
Martin is saying Sanderson, he talked very loudly.
He was boisterous.
Hey, and Brian Jackson is out there. Welcome, Brian. Great to see
Brian.
you. And he's joining us from the UK, saying hello to everyone. Thanks for being out there, Brian.
That's awesome. Awesome. Okay, well, there's a couple here. I'll just burn through quick. We'll keep going here. Of course, here's our lovely home for the weekend back in September. So the beautiful Hotel Burbank, and a few of the highlights there. And I'm not sure if many people caught this or not, but there was talk throughout the weekend. Of course, if you know the legend of Margaret, or Ara, as it were, Roy, I don't know if you noticed, but the elevators at this hotel were wonky at the best of times. They were just doing the strangest things. They would display the wrong floor number, so you'd get out on 9, but you're actually on 10. And this is an old trick, an old urban legend about Margaret being with us at all these events. So we had a lot of fun with that.
The mysterious unknown force, the MUF, as they say.
Yep, for sure. So it was a lot of fun. So here's just some generic photos. So there's going to be page after page of photos of the fans, the celebrities.
Yeah, there's Peter Medic with Nick in the bottom.
Yeah, it was, wow. I'll just go back for a second. What a great shot too, hey?
Yep, and Katie with Nick.
Yeah.
Catherine with Barbara, and then also Ted with the group, and then also the other folks that
Yeah,
are.
Tony Wynn's up there, Charlene's there.
Yep.
And there was a special night on the Thursday as well, where a lot of the attendees actually went to a local theater, a playhouse, and saw something to do with Barbara that she was putting on there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, so many wonderful pictures, and and we got all the celebrities in there. Those awesome backdrops. We had Peary and Zeno in the 2 rooms, Roy.
Yeah.
And then the model room, and this, of course, we were very fortunate to have Stephen Redder in attendance, because he virtually brought a van load of stuff. It was essentially his entire collection, and I had no idea he had so much coming. He easily filled up an entire room himself. It was just
his collection is very extensive.
Remarkable. There's Stephen up in the corner too.
Yeah, it's truly amazing. In fact, there's the laser rifle, which I never got a photo with. That was one of my one of the bucket items I wanted to do, but that's all.
Yeah. Just amazing.
And the Lapod Eagle, very, very cool. Yeah, a lot of cool stuff.
And then Stephen actually ran our auction as well, so he was sort of serving double duty, and so he brought everything together, collated and compiled everything for the auction that we had, and that was a lot of work in and of itself.
Let me see here, just jumping back on the comments. Ken is saying Eva was out of it. Eva was way out of his league. You mean Sanderson was way out of his league, right? Hey, I see Jeff Tilley's out there joining us from Australia. Welcome, Jeff. Thank you for joining us. And again, thank you, everyone. And then I also see John Baldridge is out there, and he's saying the models look awesome. Thank you, John, for joining us as well. And yes, they do. The different collections by the different fans are truly amazing, and it's when you see different folks at these different events, especially having being fortunate enough to have been in the UK, and also a lot of the items. I mean, these were screen used props. I mean, they are so cool. Andrew has, of course, Eagle 2, which is amazing, and then all the other props that have been on display, and then also the reproductions of props that we've seen in the States, and just the creative amount of creativity that goes into making them. I mean, it's just amazing. Chris was commenting on the show Friday, and I mean, it's not Space 1999 related, but I mean, he's a prop maker, and having the opportunity to see him in London and some of his creations from Space 1999. But it's just, again, my hats off to the folks that are able to create these models and put them, make them so amazing and so much that they look like they are studio builds. I mean, it's incredible. It's definitely a talent, and I mess up on regular model kits. I just don't have that gift. I wish I did, but I don't. It's just definitely not my expertise. But I'll tell you something, when you see these in person and up front, it really gives you an appreciation for it. So my hat's off to everybody that, for their creativeness.
Oh, absolutely. And just to dovetail off that, the number of hours that these folks put into these recreations is just stunning, and the level of skill needed and required, and then painting them to look photorealistic. It's just, hats off to them, like you said, Roy.
Yeah. I want to say hi to David Wallace. He's joining us, saying, watching from the snowy mountains in Australia. Welcome, David. We were definitely global today, so great to see you out there. Thanks, everyone, for being out there. Dennis commenting, saying so many new kits last few years as well too. Yeah, I was actually just talking to my son Ryan about that yesterday, and just saying, when you think about it, for a series that was in existence for literally 48 episodes, 2 seasons, that were shown at the time, years 1 and 2, and when you think about everything that has been created along the way, from different kits that are available, whether it's through different modeling companies, or garage kits, or fan made kits, or just any way you want to, any type of label you want to put on it. I mean, Space 1999 is really truly incredible when it comes to that. So it's mind blowing. So yeah, definitely, Dennis.
Yeah, no, you know what, and Roy, I'm not sure who I was saying this to the other day, in fact, but the last 20 years, we should all, as Space 1999 fans, we should be very grateful because we have seen this little resurgence in overall popularity, and that a big part of that has been in the merchandise releases. Absolutely. So the round two kits, I think, sort of started it all off, and then 1612 really got going with all their episode sets. Yeah. And then even just over the last year, we've had, and there's actually a section in the con booklet on the Zyka Toys Giant Leap Eagle 1976 that they're coming out with.
Oh yeah, absolutely. In regards to everything Tim has done, and then also, oh my God, his name's gone right out of my mind, and I forgive me. What Tim's cohort? I mean, there's Giant Leap and there's Zyka Toys, and
yeah, I'm blanking on it as well. I know exactly who you're talking about. They both came to London, and they were both in Wonderfest this year.
Yeah, I mean, Tim.
But what a fun project that is to bring out an updated version of the old Mattel toy. Hey, just unbelievable.
It's been amazing. And again, the groups that are in the UK. I mean, my hat's off to all the guys there. And everything that's been happening. Chris just said the 22-inch Eagle kit outsold the USS Enterprise. Hard to believe how much arm twisting was needed, but it opened the floodgates. That's crazy, Chris. But you know what? I believe it. And and again, I am a huge Star Trek fan. I'll even touch upon that a little bit later in the show. Yeah. So it's like, I know what I think a lot of people are waiting for the release of Eagle 4 from the Metamorph as far as the pre-built. And I'm really hoping that, round 2 does come through with that, because that will truly be amazing. But yeah, again, my hat's off to the entire contingent in the UK. Also, I want to give a hats off to, Gordon and Todd too. And, with Space 1900 props and ships in the US. I mean, they were really, helping to try to push things along too with, and putting information out there globally. I mean, I think all the fans, that have helped contribute and really just, worked to put Space 1999 on the map. And, I know it's what do they say, across the pond or on this side of the pond. It's just, it's because of you guys and gals that are affiliated with it. But you know what I mean? It's just, thank you for your persistence. Like Chris said, the arm twisting and everything. Thank you for, having, the gumption to do all this, because, when you go to these events, you see it and it's like, it is mind blowing. And yeah, it's just a huge thank you to everybody that's involved on any scale. And I know I'm not going to capture everybody. Daryl, just a shout out to Daryl too.
Oh yeah.
His incarnations, again, so many people, globally
have kept the spirit alive, Roy.
Yeah. Chris is saying, keep letting round 2 know how much people want on, an Ultra Pro. I know, I'm with you, Chris.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be, I really hope that happens. I mean, 1612 did the command module for, their one release, but a full size Ultra Pro would be amazing. Brian just said Space 1999 is a series that just won't die, and even more new memorabilia is still coming out. Not bad for TV series 50 years old, stands the test of time. Absolutely, Brian, because when you look at it in terms of, I mean, when it comes to Star Trek, there are so many incarnations of Star Trek now. For me, my special place will always be Star Trek, the original series. I mean, that's where my heart is. I am a Next Generation fan. That is probably the second for me. I mean, it's not quite at the level of the original series, but I watched the Next Generation from the beginning to the end, and that is the only Star Trek series after the original series that I actually watched all the episodes. I mean, I've caught the other series here and there, but when it comes to the shows, it was Star Trek, the original series, which is my all-time favorite for Star Trek, and then Star Trek, the Next Generation. But when you think about those 79 episodes and all the marketing and everything that's done and all the exposure, and then you have Space 1999 that was 2 seasons, 50, it's at the 50-year mark right now. I mean, percentage-wise, I think you have to say that Space 1999 really is hitting, is hitting home. It's like a grand slam.
Yeah, 100%.
See a lot of other comments coming into. Let's see. Andy Tucker said Ultra Probe, I'll take too.
Yeah, no kidding.
Jim says if round 2 tool day diorama set for collision course, the cold, open mind planning scenes, I'd be on that so fast. And David saying, I thought the plateau was reached with the DVDs of all episodes, but 50 years later, we get the Super Space Theater movies. What's next? Yeah, great point, David. Totally agree. Brian Jackson is saying likewise. Richard, thank you for joining us. Thanks for being out there. He's saying happy holidays to everyone. Diana is saying more action figures would be nice. Diana is the queen when it comes to the action figures. I mean, her collection is amazing. Especially for Dr. Helena Russell, right, Diana? And John is saying, yes, Star Trek, the original series, Deep Space Nine and Voyager are excellent too, but nothing will beat the original. Yeah, I'm so with you there. Nick is saying travel tube diorama. That would be cool. And let me see. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anybody else. Just going back. Jim commented before, says, I have 3 of the 22-inch Eagle kits. They are nice. Yes, they are very nice. I agree with you. And Martin said, also the Big Finish audio series, bringing awareness to the series. Absolutely, Martin. That's that's another great example of everything. And Diana said, do you think they'll make any more action figures? Lots of Eagles and no figures. I mean, we will have to wait and see. I mean, that might, I don't know. I mean, that you're dealing with licensing. All of this is dealing with licensing, but then there's also the likeness factor that comes into play with that. So that's a great question, Diana. I don't know, but we'll see. And Francine said yes. And let me see here. Richard said, I keep saying we need action figures, including all the B cast and special guest star ones. I mean, it would be awesome if they did that. I totally agree. And John said, I have 2 of the 22-inch kits. They are beautiful. So I think I got everybody caught up, Warren. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. There's lots of activity out there today. It's great to see.
Yep. Oh, one real quick. Mary just said, it would be nice to have some behind the scenes videos, but apparently there aren't any. You know what? It's interesting because something was just posted by, I believe it was on the Jerry Anderson page, and I've seen it out there. There is actually, and this was done as part of the release, where there was, I think, college students at the time, back in 1976, 50 years ago. It was in May of 76. You were talking about Mark of Archon earlier, Warren.
Yes, I've seen it. Yeah.
We're doing behind the scenes filming of that episode, and I think one of the scenes takes place in the medical center, where Nick or Alan is with Etrick, and it's the scene where he's saying about telling him about a hamburger, and then he says it's mixed with hydroponic soil and what have you. But they're doing the run of the practice run for that, the rehearsal for that scene. So that is a behind the scenes image, and that was included on one of the Blu-ray releases in the UK. Yeah. So that might be something for you to check out, Mary, just as a FYI. But anyway, go ahead, Warren. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. All good points from everybody out there. So I'll burn through these next few. There's going to be a couple ladies out there watching that are going to appreciate the next 2 or 3 slides. One of the big highlights during Los Angeles, of course, was Barbara's birthday that we had. And this was a culmination of a lot of planning and prep on bringing this evening together for Barbara. And it was a real thrill for everybody to be in attendance and to be celebrating her birthday, of course, the famous September 13th. And we were even fortunate enough to be joined by some of Barbara's family. We were just thrilled to have Susie Landau there, as well as her husband, Roy, Barbara's granddaughter, Aria. And it was just a wonderful time all around. So, of course, we've paid a special tribute to that in the convention booklet as well. And here's some nice photos of everybody at the banquet.
Nice.
And Barbara actually received a very special birthday card not a lot of people were aware, but this is something that I got involved with. One of my former teachers is actually related to Barbara, so she gave me a card that I brought all the way from Canada and gave to Barbara, and she just couldn't believe it. Like the expression, and Susie was sitting right there with us. It was just wonderful for her to see and to make all these connections, and just what a coincidence. And this teacher's first name is Susan, and her birthday's also September 13th. So just an incredible coincidence.
It just goes to show you how small the world is, right? In the scheme of things.
No kidding. Just
that was your teacher?
With my fifth grade teacher in Regina, Saskatchewan. There's even a picture of the old community school there. It's just remarkable that and what happened in a nutshell. I won't drag it out, but essentially there was one day in class where she walked in and said, "Hey, does anybody happen to watch Space 1999?" Of course, there were a number of us. We threw our hands up, and then she proceeded to tell the story that actually her and her family were related to Barbara and Martin. And I remember that down through the years, and just randomly reached out to this school teacher on Facebook a couple years back, and I confirmed the story. So I wasn't sure if my memory was faulty after that many years. But yeah, she confirmed it right away. She knew. I could just tell. She had certain details that nobody else would be aware of, and so we actually had a lunch here right before Los Angeles, and she handed this card to me to give to Barbara. So it was a very, very special moment.
No, that is special. That's crazy though. Wow. But the fact that she lived in Canada too, because I mean they were
and in my hometown, and was my teacher. It was
a teacher. I mean, yeah, not only the location being Canada, but it was your hometown, and then it was.
Yep.
So she's basically been in Canada for over 45, 50, close to 50 years then, right?
Yeah, these were distant cousins. So
it wasn't a first cousin. It was maybe like a second or a third cousin.
It was a second or third relation, but they all had apparently the same aunt down through the years. So that was sort of the connection, is that all of the kids sort of knew each other through this particular aunt.
Right. Gotcha. Wow.
So
it is a small world after all.
Yeah, no kidding. So anyway, a couple other fun things we feature in our convention booklet this time out are the day trips that we've all been really grateful to be a part of these last few events. So this time out, we did a Hollywood tour, and it was Chris Paulson that put all this together. Wow, he did a bang-up job with all these locations and stops. You can see the Brady Bunch house there, Griffith Observatory, and of course the famous Hollywood sign, amongst others. So that was a real fun time for everybody on the Thursday. And then, of course, what did we end up doing on the Monday, Roy?
Oh, geez. Can you say Vasquez Rocks? Can anybody out there say the Gorn? Yeah.
So this was,
ironically enough, that was actually my second venture out to Vasquez Rocks. In fact, the first was tied to 1999 because it was during Barbara's star ceremony, which took place in
that's right,
April of 2016, which really 9 years have been. But seriously though, this is, and I was just talking to Ryan about this today too, my son Ryan. Vasquez Rocks literally is like out in the desert. I mean, it really is. I mean, and it got hot out there. And the one thing I try to be prepared, and I actually had a bottle of water. I got to be careful because I actually, as many of our viewers know, I had a double bypass on February 19th. So I got to be really careful. And what happened was I pretty much got dehydrated. And even though I had water, and I was even talking to my physical trainer about this just last week, you dehydrate and you actually have to be careful not, and you need almost like a lot of people go, Gatorade is like the go-to, but it's very high in sugar. So it's better to use something that's, not like Gatorade, but something else, which I wound up getting a little later. But the temperature, I think, was close to 100 degrees, if not in the upper 90s when we were there, probably like around 12 or 1 o'clock in the afternoon. But anyway, putting that aside, it is, if anybody has ever been out there, you know what we're talking about. But if you have not been there, it's definitely a place. If you can make it a bucket list item, definitely do so. I mean, there's so many, not only with obviously Star Trek being the big connection, but so many movies and television series over the years have been filmed at this location. And unfortunately, there is a museum that is there, and we actually saw the curator. She actually came through, and she's super nice. She's so sweet, and I remembered her from almost 10 years ago. And they actually have like a museum in there where they have all the posters of all the different movies, and they reference a lot of the television shows that have been made over the years. And it's almost, if anybody remembers The Lone Ranger, and I'm talking back from like the 1950s with Clayton Moore and Jay Silverheels. If you're a Lone Ranger fan, they used to shoot out there, and it's really cool. So a lot of us brought our cosplay, and I had a lot of fun. So I got my Captain Kirk uniform out, and got it out of the mothballs, and at least it fit a little bit better because I lost some weight. So, but it was fun. I think we all had a good time.
Yeah, it was a great time. Great time. Very memorable. Any comments?
Probably that I was a little long-winded on that.
No, go on.
Let's see. Nick is saying, love the background, Warren. Yeah, no, he's commenting about your background of Alpha.
Oh yeah.
Commenting the Rock's trip was great too. And let's see, smart water advisable for those dehydrated episodes with heart issues. Yeah, like me. Yeah, no, absolutely. And I hope you're doing well too. And that's going to UFO Computers. So I'm not sure who that is, but just I hope you're good. Ken saying it was gorgeous and amazing to be there. Yeah, it's and of course, just like anything that you see on television, when you're watching on TV, it looks so vast, but it's just like, and it's not that it's a small area. It's pretty spread out, but it's just that it's pretty amazing. And depending upon what angle you're on, it's really fun too, because you can kind of like guess the episodes of, and again, I'm deflecting back to Star Trek because that's the go-to with this, obviously with Vasquez Rocks. I mean, they shot a number of episodes there. The first one that comes to mind is The Alternative Factor with Lazarus, if you remember that from the first series with Lazarus, with the two Lazarus. The one was almost like matter, and the other one was antimatter. The other episode, Friday's Child, with Julie Newmar, who was pregnant and gives birth to Leonard J. Akanar. But they're dealing with the Capellans and the Klingon. That's another episode that was shot there. So those are the immediate two that immediately come to mind. But and then I think they also filmed a Private Little War. I think they were in the vicinity of there too. So anyway, there you go.
Nice. And so much history, of course, Roy. I mean, going way back to, I think the earliest production that I saw was the original Dracula. So there's kind of a connection there. So there were parts of Vasquez Rocks used as the Carpathians in the 1931 Bela Lugosi Dracula version.
There's the Marlon Landau connection.
Exactly. And of all things, just up until the last week or so, I was watching a new TV series called Fallout, and the second season just premiered, and the first episode of the second season was all shot there. You can see the iconic formations right away, and I was just like, I can't believe this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pops up everywhere. Yeah.
UFO Computers saying Coochie Coochie Coo. Yeah. Uchi Coochie Coo, Captain. Uchi Coochie Coo.
I'm wondering if UFO Computer, that might be Alexa.
I was wondering if that's Alexa. Alexa, if that's you, let us know. And
the funny thing is, Alexa did a fantastic video of Vasquez Rocks right after we got back, if you recall. She edited it.
In fact, she asked me to.
Yeah.
I try to be dead. I try to play it really serious and then just kind of like have fun with that. Yeah. Alexa's cosplay was amazing. So, saying not Alexa, love her work though. So, okay. Well, thanks.
Okay.
But yeah, no, Alexa does a fantastic job with all our cosplay. Um, Brian is saying it's an iconic location, amazing. You had a great time. Thanks, Brian. Yeah, again, if anybody has never been there and you have the opportunity to check it out, like I said, I was talking to the curator almost 10 years ago when I was there, and she even said she gets people from all over the world, and they will even say it's a bucket list item place. I mean, it's just, one of those things you can say, wow, I've been there. The other place I would have loved to have gone to, but I don't think it's in existence anymore, and this is for the Star Trek fans out there, is there was a location called Africa Park, USA. And if you're a fan of the original Star Trek series, Shore Leave, they did a lot of filming there. But and that park actually wound up was purchased, I believe, by Tippi Hedren. And for the folks out there who remember the movie The Birds, and also are familiar with Melanie Griffith, because Melanie Griffith is the daughter of Tippi Hedren, and she was really into the animals. In fact, if Lou is still out there, Lou, I believe, was at Africa Park, USA many years ago. But unfortunately, there were, when there was a lot of rainstorms, I think that part of that area may have been lost, and I think it had been maybe redeveloped. So anyway, just a side note. And Jim is saying Alexa really has become a superstar of Anderson fandom. She's great. Yeah, no, she's a lot of fun, and she knows her stuff. And yeah, it was a pleasure to finally meet her in person too. So definitely, I'm with you there, Jim. Yeah, Warren. Sorry.
That's fine. That's fine. I was worried that I'd burn through these slides too quickly, and we'd have lots of dead air at the end. But we're doing it. This is being spread out nicely.
Cool beans.
So here's another one real quick, and I actually posted this on Christmas Day. I just wanted to give a special shout out to our wonderful team of volunteers that we had, not only in Los Angeles, but London, going back to Calgary. These people have all come together and devoted their time, right, a time away from the fun events in some cases, even to ensure the smooth operating of things behind the scenes, and just a wonderful crew. And so just, of course, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to everybody on the volunteer team as well. Okay.
Yeah, no, they were truly wonderful. I mean, everybody that contributed to the convention was just wonderful, and from beginning to end.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, 100%. Here's an extra acknowledgement that I had, and kudos to my sister Heather, but also this fellow Ricardo, just an amazingly nice fellow, and this was his very first Space 1999 convention, and he traveled all the way from Sao Paulo, Brazil, and he's been a big supporter of all our events going back to the virtuals, and yeah, just a terrific fellow. That's what Space 1999 events are all about. It's amazing. After all these years, Roy, how many first-timers we're still getting. It's truly remarkable, isn't it?
Well, and, there's a lot of people that, just it's tough to make it to the events. I mean, that's what was nice about the virtual events, too, because, I mean, one of the negatives with there's so many negatives with COVID, but it was an opportunity to bring people together, especially for that forum. It really, and then when you have people that have never been to an actual physical convention, it really, really makes the difference. So it's nice that folks that have never been able to be at a convention were able to experience it. I remember the very first time for me. I mean, it literally was the 1999 convention, and that was in Los Angeles, and that was my very first time going. Some of the other comments coming through just real quick. Yes, UFO computers. I did get the reference. In regards to Uchi Kuchi Ku, that was when Spock says to Kirk, Uchi Kuchi Ku, Captain. And then John is even commenting and saying, yeah, if you're an obscure Earth dialect, if you're interested, consult linguistics. And then he goes on to say about how it's going to come out that the baby was named after Dr. McCoy.
yes, that's funny.
Lou is commenting. The place is called. Yes, thank you, Lou. Thank you for commenting. The place is called Shambhala the area where Shirley was shot was a few miles from there. I recall being able to see it from the highway. Yeah, I thought you were in that vicinity, Lou, and I remember that. And I think, I mean, that was quite some time ago, but thank you for sharing that. Yeah, exactly. UFO computers. But
Awesome.
yeah, getting back to your original point, Warren, yes. I mean, again, I was aware of the Space 1999 conventions, but when I actually got to go to my first one in '99, I was blown away. So yeah, it's nice to see that fans that have never been to one having that experience, because it's I mean, it's almost like you're a virgin, right?
Well, it's very special. I know in Ricardo's case, I mean, he was like live streaming back to his family in Brazil, and he just couldn't believe he was there, and he was so taken by everybody and everything, and it was just really wonderful. Heather, really quickly, just thanks to this lovely lady, a lot of people probably aren't aware, but yeah, she's really put in a lot of work behind the scenes with everything we've been planning, Roy. And, going back to Peterborough in 2014, she came over and she's not even really the biggest fan, but, she's just there for all of us, right? And she's become a part of the family, and she's just really, really integral. So I wanted to give her a special a nod of acknowledgement and thank you as well.
No, definitely.
And then finally, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, hi, Heather.
Yeah, for sure. She might be out there tonight. I'm not sure, but
I saw her before.
Yeah, I think she was planning on tuning in. So, finally, our wonderful committee, Roy, that we were a part of. Of course, this event was collaborative in many, many different aspects and angles. So, full of gratitude goes out to Chris Paulson, Robert Wood, Catherine Cuglietta as well, for helping you and I pull this off. It's a lot of work to manage and run one of these events successfully, and we couldn't have done it without them. Hey?
No, I mean, it was the five of us that did this, and it would not have happened if it wasn't for the five of us. So absolutely, you know what? It's doing these events, is anybody that's been on that side of the fence, there's nothing easy about it. And yeah, it's definitely a labor of love for any type of show that you're trying to do. And it's, the same is to be said with, with this for Space 1999. I mean, there's so much that goes into all of this. And everybody just, has it's like a puzzle coming together, and everybody, putting, the pieces together. I mean, could go on and on, right, but it is what it is. So no, definitely. It was definitely, I can't stress that enough to say it was the five of us.
Absolutely. So, collaborative effort on every level.
Yep. Just want to get back to some of the comments that are coming in too. David said, it's amazing how newcomers are welcome to the space family. Yes, that's true. It's a very welcoming atmosphere for sure. Chris commented, it's hard to imagine, but Daryl, who's built the Eagle cockpit, was literally speechless the first time he came to one of our get-togethers in the UK. It can be overwhelming first time. No, there we go. Perfect example. Yeah.
Yep.
And MCA 127, welcome. I just want to say hi. And MCA 127 is saying, my first 1999 convention was Peterborough in 2014. Manchester is 40 minutes away from my home, so I'll certainly be going. Oh, very nice.
Awesome.
And thanks for being out there. Also, UFO Computers is saying, no coochie coo and Alpha Child. No, this is true. That's definitely a true comment. Jackie Crawford was not going to say was not going to be Uchi Coochie Cooed. Anyway, go ahead, Warren.
Awesome. Well, I think that's basically the end of it. So the con booklet, of course, is going to also include an extensive 50-year history of the entire series, right from Pinewood and Bray Studios through the years of, as we discussed previously, merchandise, fan art, events, collections, Eagle Meets, David Hirsch and Starlog, right, which we always reference, and That's a big section. And then, of course, we have a quick little look back at London from last year. I'll just sort of burn through these. And into 26. So we have a section sort of looking ahead to 2026. And this is going to be one of the major projects moving forward. It's been in the works for a year or so. It's morphed and changed a couple of times, through various stages of pre-production. But it is still happening. And we may be launching a Kickstarter soon. This is essentially, for anybody out there who hasn't seen or heard of it, Return to Moonbase Alpha is essentially a sequel to Message from Moonbase Alpha, which was out, hard to believe, Roy, 25 years ago, right?
Yeah, I know. Crazy.
So the seeds that were planted by Johnny Byrne and the crew in Message were essentially that the Alphans had found a new home on Terra Alpha, but that the moon, although they were abandoning it, would be on a slingshot and set to return in about 25 years, which brings us to right about now. So, there's going to be further developments on this exciting project. It'll be, likely the last time a lot of these characters are ever set to screen, and we're hoping to facilitate that and come up with something very special for the fans.
Nice, very nice. Yeah, it's crazy to think that was like 25 years ago. I mean, this show is built around nostalgia. I mean, I like to focus on television and movies of the 60s, 70s, 80s. Sometimes we'll go a little bit later, we'll touch upon 90s, and we'll even, cross the lines here and there, but it's really centered around that time frame. And as of late, it just blows my mind to think that 2025, we are coming up on 2026. And I mean, I like many folks out there who I'm sure remember when it was 1999. I mean, that was a huge staple for, especially in regards to the show. Yep. I mean, it had been literally 23 years since 1999 had been filmed when it was 99. But then we were going from 99 to 2000, and who remembers Y2K, where everyone
sure.
thought the computers were going to shut down, and it was, that uncertainty. And if you ask different folks, a lot of times they remember where they were for that. And it's just that was 25 years ago. And it just blows my mind that so much time has gone by. And, I was referencing about the 99 convention in LA, the Breakaway convention. And I remember they had, as I guess Catherine Schell was on audio. They phoned her in, and when she was talking about the show, she was saying it was such a long time ago. It was 25 years ago. And it's like, oh my God, but you know what? That was 25 years ago now. You know what I mean? So it's like, we are, the fact that this is like a 50-year show, it's just, I don't know. It's like the last couple of years, it's only been a few years, but it's like so much has added in regards to the time that's gone by. And there's a lot of
it's really, I think, what in my mind anyway, Roy, sorry to interrupt, but it's just in my experience these last few years, it's really just hit home how much time has passed for me.
Exactly. It's for whatever reason, it's like we're really feeling it now. As Bergman says in the one episode. Chris is saying, when I was 5, Thunderbirds was set in the future of 2026, which seems such a long time in the future. Exactly, Chris. And it's like it's next month. It's insane. It's like, I don't know. It's just really mind blowing. Just going back to some of the comments, UFO Computer said, my first was London last year, and it was much more spectacular than I envisioned. Shout Studios Marathon streams that year brought me there. Everyone's so welcoming and friendly, starting with Nick. No, wonderful to hear that, and glad you had a positive experience, UFO Computers. David is saying time keeps getting faster. Yeah, and it's funny. Somebody said that to me years ago. They said, you know what? The older you get, the faster time goes, and it's true. It really, really is. Jim commented, I'm in one of the more rural parts of Nova Scotia, and when Barry Morse was on his Merely Players tour, he showed up at a tiny theater 22 minutes away from here, and I got to meet him. Now that's really cool.
Very cool.
Very cool, Jim. Thank you for sharing. And David's saying we are approaching Ara's age. Lots of laughs. Yeah, I know, right? It's so true. Chris is saying more time is elapsed between today and UFO than UFO and the First World War. You know, I think in time,
Oh my goodness.
and it blows me away. And I think, we were just talking, Ross and I were just talking about this. It's like, when you think of the 1920s and 30s as like, oh my God. And this is like back in the 70s. It seemed like it was such a long time ago. And, the 30s at that time was only like 40 years ago. And now we're talking about a TV show that is 50 years old, and that's from the 70s. Yeah. I mean, you can really go to town when you start discussing all this stuff, but it's so true. And the funny thing is, time is a constant. I mean, a second is a second, a minute is a minute, an hour is an hour, and so on. It's just that our perception that is different, not so much the actual time, but it's, when you're younger, things seem a lot, bigger. And then when you're, adult, things seem a lot smaller, but anyway, I digress.
No, it's okay. I mean, we're all. It sounds like we're on the same page. It's literally to all roads lead to Star Trek, Roy. Within the wink of an eye.
There you go. Yeah.
It's like, wow. Being a 5-year-old, trying to envision 25 years in the future, and now here we are, 25 years beyond that. And it's mind-boggling.
In the wink of an eye, and I think I don't know. Kirk maybe should have stayed with Layla. And if for the Star Trek fans out there, they slipped it in. Kirk's in his quarters and he's putting his boot on. I wonder what that represented. This is a
wait, Kirk. Oh boy. Okay.
But yeah. Just putting that out there. And UFO Computer said, and we still have Shatner. Yes, long live Shatner. Absolutely. Yeah. And he's going to be 95 on March 22nd next year. And I'll give this pitch. If you've never been to the Star Trek original series set tour in Ticonderoga, New York, if you have the opportunity to go there, I know Martin's been there. Martin's out there.
I've been there. Do yourself a favor.
You were there, Warren. Yep. It is amazing what James Cawley has created there. So it's just, yeah. And William Shatner will be there. He's going to be celebrating the 60th anniversary. Definitely check it out if you have not had the opportunity to check it out. It is, all I can say is you will feel like you are on the Enterprise. The sets are incredible.
Wouldn't it be cool if somebody did that for Space 1999, maybe over in the UK someday?
That would be amazing. That would be wonderful if that ever happened. That would.
It's not that far-fetched when you think of it. When you look at Daryl's work, when you look at Kit Bevan's work, like there's so many incredibly talented individuals over there that have designed the set pieces, recreated them. It's just wow.
Yeah. So with that, now that would be amazing. Maybe someday, who knows? But in regards to Star Trek, if you have them here, I'm giving the pitch. StarTrekTour.com. Definitely check it out. But I would love to see a Moonbase Alpha. Think about it. It would almost be now. I'm going to say this. I mean, it's no bearing on the seasons. I'm not going down that rabbit hole, but year 2, as we all know, the Making of Space 1999, Tim Held's book. I mean, there was the schematic and the layout of, Moonbase Alpha. I mean, I am a main mission person myself. I love main mission. That's my preference. But what if there was main mission and then you had the year 2 schematics for everything else? Also, with the Eagle, I would say make sure you have that airlock between the command module and the passenger module. That is my biggest pet peeve for year 2 for the Eagle. But that would be really cool. That would be
well. I mean, and of course, a lot of this, Roy, I mean, has already. We didn't even mention the command center set that Darrow and company
absolutely
created as well. So that's already sort of been out there. And in my mind, though, I mean, to do it and to really make it special, there's only one thing you could do, and that's to recreate main mission, in its entirety. Would just be my brain would melt stepping onto that, right? And
So if
so
anybody
you
wins they have in the U.S. what they call, I don't know if they, it's the Powerball. Hopefully when it's $1 billion at some point.
yes.
And honestly, if it ever, I always play one ticket just to be in it. So if I win $1 billion, I will make sure that set gets conceived.
Okay, I'm going to hold you to that.
Yeah, it has to be $1 billion win though.
Awesome.
It's too funny. Anyway.
Cool. How are you doing on time, Roy?
We are at the 1 hour and 8 minute mark. So I've got about 15 more minutes because we're gonna have to start wind down.
Yep. That's perfect. Of course, 2026, as we look ahead. So just really quickly for everybody out there, we've talked about Manchester. This was announced back in September during Los Angeles. And we've got some guests lined up already: Nick Tate, Anton Phillips, Suzanne Peterson, and the aforementioned Carolyn Seymour. There will be many, many more added to the roster. And I'm going to show you a sneak preview of a couple of exhibits that we've already confirmed. The other thing I just want to point out here is that speaking about this being December the 28th, is that you can see here, we still have a few days to take advantage of some early bird pricing that's in effect on our website, www.space199950years.com. So if you are thinking of attending, you can save yourself a few dollars and get those before Wednesday, December the 31st. On New Year's Eve, that'll be wrapping up as well for everybody out there. And as to those exhibits, we announced this in the last few days. We've confirmed that the incredible miniature work of Mark Anthony Craig is going to be on display at Manchester. And if you go to Mark's page, I mean, this is just 4 quick photos, but he has virtually recreated Alpha in its entirety. Hey, listen, we were just talking about main mission. Well, here it kind of is, Roy, except that it's miniaturized. But no, just some incredible scale work there. And that's we're not even sure how it's going to be on display exactly because it's so tiny. So
Mark's work is incredible. The dioramas that I see online, again, it's just the testament to the creativity of so many folks worldwide that they share their skills, they share their creations, and it's so much fun to be able to see. So that's very nice that he's going to be sharing that at the event. So very, very cool. I know how much of a pleasure it is just to see it online on the photos. So I guess folks that have the opportunity to see it, that'll be great.
Yeah, no kidding. And of course, we've already discussed Daryl's Eagle cockpit. That's going to be rolled out again for the second time. And Daryl, of course, and family are going to be hard at work on this project all year to add to it and expand upon it and complete it in general. It was a work in progress when we saw it a couple years ago. So it's hopefully going to be a little more complete. And but I mean, what can you say, Roy? Like about the level of detail and love, and we were just talking about building main mission. I mean, and there's so many people that could be tapped into resource-wise that would be able to do something like that. Just look at this work.
No, I know, and it was just so much fun to be to be able to be there to see that, and just Daryl's incredible. I have no words for what he's done. I mean, he's knocked it out of the park. Again, that's just another home run. I mean, his creativity and his willingness just to share with everybody. I mean, for everybody to have the opportunity to experience that. I mean, it was amazing. And it's one somebody was posting earlier in the comments section. The fact that Johnny Garco got to be in there, and of course, not only Johnny Garco, but of course, the man Nick Tate. I mean, Alan Carter. I mean, that in itself was amazing. Yeah. And then he also had not only he had the spacesuits, which look amazing, and I mean everything. It's just, and I can only imagine how wonderful it's going to look. Next September. I mean, again, my hat's off to him. I mean. It's another example of creativity and just a labor of love. I just want to say, I see Mark is out there. Mark, welcome. He's saying, hello, just spotted you guys are on. Welcome, Mark. Great. Thanks. Yeah, we were your ears were probably ringing. Just want to say, your work's amazing, which, I know we've shared that before, but again, we're just reiterating how it's so cool. So thanks for being out there. Yeah, Dennis Chevalier is also saying it was Mark does amazing work. Ken is saying Daryl's work is amazing and he is the nicest guy. Yeah, nicest guy on earth. Absolutely, Ken. Totally agree. David is commenting. David already purchased. It will be my first. Oh, that's awesome. That's going to be your first.
Yeah. Thanks, David. Yeah, I'm going to be sending out some official confirmation shortly, but we had you on the list.
So yeah, no, that's awesome.
Yeah. And yeah, I think that's the end of my slides, Roy. And I know we have been chatting for over an hour here, but of course the other thing going into 2026 that we're proud to announce and come back to is something that you've been very, very hands-on and integral with pulling off over the last year. That's the Space 1999 This Episode podcast.
Yes. So for the folks out there that have been tuning in, yeah, we're very excited. Warren and I started doing that in October of 2024, and what our goal was to do was to go through the first series of episodes, the first 24 episodes, and we did that over the span of October of 2024, right before the Los Angeles event that was in 2025 this year, and we did that, and we took a break from it. There's just this year again is there's been so many. Everybody's got their stuff, so I'm not minimizing for anybody, but unfortunately for me personally, there's been this 2025 is definitely definitely been hit by the bat many times, and some good things have fortunately made on the other side of it with certain things. But anyway, not to go down that rabbit hole, but the whole thing is some comments have been coming through and people have been asking. So yes, we are going to be resuming with year 2. We are going to be discussing the 24 episodes of year 2, and it's appropriate too because Space 1999 production for year 2, this is kind of all centered around the 50th anniversary, and year 2 started production on January 26th of 1976, and that will be 50 years next month. And so sometime in January, we don't have a date set yet, but we will be resuming. So we'll keep you posted on that. And it's been a lot of fun, and we like to just talk about the episodes and give tidbits of information, and for those of you that have watched it, and I think it's been fun, and hopefully everyone enjoys it. So looking forward to doing that.
Well, it's nice we sort of structured around the idea of we try to have a virtually a different guest each week, right? Who's a fan, and so we had a lot of a variety of different opinions and ideas on things, and it was really fascinating. I think for both you and I to talk to some of these people and sort of get some new ideas or perceptions on things.
No, definitely, and that's what makes it fun. Real quick, UFO computer saying emotional when Nick returned to the cockpit. Daryl and Son are geniuses. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely with that. Nick is saying hi to Mark, and Mark is saying hi to Nick. And then Mark just commented, year 2, expect the haters to comment. You know what? I'll be honest with you. I get it. And you know what? Here's the thing. I mean, you know what? Year 2 is as much a part of the series as year 1. And I have my year 1 episodes that I love, and there's some that I don't love, but I enjoy. And then I have my year 2 episodes. There's some that I really love, and there's some that I just enjoy. And, it is what it is. And you know what? Just like anything else, some things are better than others. You can't have everything being perfect, or then everything would be perfect. And we know that's not the case. And I know what you're saying, Mark. I get it. And I've always embraced both series. I just, love Space 1999, and I try not to get caught up in that stuff. I mean, but yeah, so we try to make it fun, and it in fact, we were even going to do a debate on year 1, year 2, which I think is okay to do, but it's just that it needs to be done respectfully. But that's not the case when we're going to be doing the episodes. We're just going to literally be discussing the episodes as we discussed the year 1 episodes.
Yeah, it's and I think overall, though, I mean, we did have a lot of fun with the year one episodes, right? There were still instances where, you had to sort of take things in stride. It's a product of its time in some ways. Year two is going to be much the same. It might be a little lighter in tone, even just because tonally, year two is so different than year one, right? There's no denying it, right?
Absolutely. And John said year two is still Space 1999.
Of course. I've always said as well that I'd take year two of 1999 over year two of Buck Rogers any day.
Oh my God! Don't even get me started on that. David said, "I see it as one series." Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I always have, David. UFO saying wonderful cast and characters in your two. Yeah, and it's interesting that some people don't. But again, and now here's the thing. This is one thing I will say. I don't believe in trying to convince anybody to see things my way or your way or anybody else's way. I think it's an individual choice, and I think everybody has the right to do it. Where I get a little miffed is when people start getting nasty to other people and start getting insulting about other people's opinions. I think anybody out there has the right to envision, view, and look at it any way they want to, because you know what? That's, it's personal, and that's, it's personal just liking the show. But it's just that when certain folks try to pretty much, superimpose their feelings onto others, and then some people get belligerent, it's a shame, because it doesn't have to be that way. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to beat a dead horse, but that's my opinion on it. And for me personally,
and you know what, it is so easy out there in the stratosphere of Facebook, right, for those keyboard warriors to sort of chime in. But with the show though, Roy, I mean, for everybody out there, I mean, I think anybody viewing and anybody that knows you and I know that we're not going to be going on a rant. We're going to celebrate year two just as much as we did year one, because David brought up a good point. I mean, I never ever thought of it as nothing other than the same series myself. And having said that, even just over the last few years, it's been fun and interesting. Just when you go on some of those pages and you get involved in some of these threads, you see some very creative ideas when it comes to the diversity between year one and year two. And I've seen people come up with, alternate universe theories and things like that to try and explain it.
I love hearing about, when people aren't being critical and, whether they're, just expressing their thoughts and opinions. I love hearing what their ideas are about the show, maybe, about if it's series one or series two. To your point, where they get creative. And let me tell you something. I want a huge nod to the people out there that do the fan fiction, because there's a lot of thought that goes into fan fiction, and there's a lot of folks out there that are really involved with it, and it's amazing. I mean, again, that's another part of being creative, and it's fun because you have the opportunity to have expanded stories. And, it's the fact that, again, we're talking about a show that was on for two seasons, 48 episodes, filmed between 73 and 76, but, broadcast essentially between 75 and 77. And, to have that type of impact, that is pretty amazing. David just said, I see it as one series. UFO Computer said, wonderful cast of characters in year two. I think I did that already. I actually prefer the year opening theme for year two than year one. Poon Kitty saying year two is still Moonbase Alpha, is still Space 99, just a different time following the last episode of year one. Mark is saying we got two series almost for the price of one. John saying, even though I also like year two of Buck, not all.
Of Buck Rogers, yeah, okay. I didn't mean any slight, John.
Thanks. He said, well, thanks, David, for that. And then Brian Jackson said, it's 40 episodes of space. You won't love all the episodes, but it's your choice. Exactly, Brian. I totally agree. Poon Kitty said, some like chocolate ice cream, some vanilla. Me, I like them both swirled. Great analogy. And then John also said, it's also the in thing to hate on things. Hate is feet. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, exactly. It is what it is.
Yeah. But the other thing, Roy, that I've heard time and time again down through the years from fans is that a lot of year two fans are year two fans because they actually saw year two first.
I've heard that. I've actually heard that before
And
too.
it makes complete sense of your of it being, if that was your first exposure, right? That's going to be the most resonant, and that's yeah, where your go to lies.
Yeah, and Mark just commented, what boils me is the haters who state year two is trash and expect everyone else to agree with them as it is a fact. They actively try to discourage newbies from even watching it. Both Alexa and Maria Claire suffered that. And now I consider that to be really sad. But yeah. John said, I really like Star Wars sequels, even with their faults. Of course, the prequels and originals are the best. Of course. And Chris just said, just about the makes that point. Yep.
And hey, really quickly, we were talking about all things Manchester, so to interrupt, but Mr. Trice, Mr. Potter, and the entire crew is going to be back as well, bringing their entire collections to have on exhibit. And if you're in London, yeah, it's we're also opening things up a little bit as well to even some of the other Gerry Anderson properties, just so everybody's aware.
No, so, that's a great point to make, because it's again, Gerry Anderson. I mean, I personally didn't get involved in those other worlds and of shows. Part of me wishes I did, but I am so backlogged right now to even try to even think about trying to start. But I have to say, though, for me, it's been Space 1999, it's been UFO, and I love the Protectors. I love the Protectors. I love watching that series. It's different. My only gripe about the Protectors is I wish it was longer. I wish it had been an hour-long series instead of a 30-minute series. And as we know, if it's a show is 30 minutes, it really isn't. It's like 22 minutes. So there's only so much you could do in that 22 minutes. But I really, really enjoyed it, and I have to say, thank you. It was Jamie Anderson had posted about on the 26th, because sadly Gerry Anderson had passed back in 2012, and it's hard to believe that he's been gone 13 years. But if you go on to the Gerry Anderson website, there's a post from Jamie. He talks about it, and just sharing your likes of Gerry Anderson and how it kind of impacted you on some level, and then doing hashtag Cheers Gerry Anderson, just to put it out there. And it again, he we wouldn't have all this. So it's when I think about everything that is happening, Gerry Anderson opened up to me personally. I mean, it's just mind blowing. So, and to me, it goes back to talking about, and I always think of Barry Morse. I had heard stories with Barry when, folks would be at the conventions and they, be taking pictures of the stars, and then Barry's taking photos of, the fans. And when you think about how it just united everybody, and, this is what, almost 50 years. So that in itself is pretty incredible. Real quickly, Mikel27 said, when I finished watching season, it takes me 3 or 4 episodes to get into season 2, but when I do it, I enjoy it. Buck Rogers, rest in peace, Gil Gerard. I'm that really upset me too. And
that's a tough one for a lot of us.
I really wanted to have Gil Gerard on the show. In fact, Lou, who's out there, I had talked to Lou about it probably a while ago, and it's something I didn't act on, and I really can kick myself because I would have loved to have had Gil on the show. And he just such a nice guy. And talking about events and conventions, I mean, he's so approachable, and a lot of fans are really, showing a lot of clips and what have you, a meeting with him. And he was just such a nice guy. Mark said he saw year 2 first. Nick McCarty saying year 1 definitely had an atmospheric tone that wasn't in the second, possibly the music. Nope, I agree with you. Totally agree. UFO computers said, Roy and Warren, give me 1976 first Star Wars trailer vibes. Yeah, I'm with you there. Yes, rest in peace, Gil. Chris Trice saying it'll be a bigger exhibition than London. It's still fluid, but we're all on board. That is wonderful to hear, Chris. That's great.
Thank you so much.
Got to get back to work. Great show, guys. Thanks so much, May. Thanks for being out there. David saying, I'm just starting to watch The Protectors on Tubi. Love it thus far. Yeah, you'll really love it. And Yasko, and of course Tony is in there. And then Prentice was in a few episodes. Jill Townsend was a guest, and there's other connections to 1999 as well. Punkadi said, I am so happy to have discovered The Protectors. Neat little show. Yeah. John is saying rest in peace, Gil. Absolutely. Jim also said you can pretty much create any headcanon you want for the series. Who's to say there wasn't still a reduced staff working a main mission throughout year 2 that we never saw? True. Jim is saying, why not just to be creative instead of hating? Yeah, I know. It is so true. And then Chris Trice said The Protectors was made by Jerry as a favor to Lou Gray, but it wasn't actually a Jerry show. Oh, Chris, you always have the information and the tidbits. So thank you for sharing that. That's good to know. But I loved it anyway. But thanks for sharing the comments. All right, we're going to start to wind it down. Warren, was there any other news or information you wanted to share? Because
no, I think I'm good. I know you usually jump into a shout out section.
I'm just going to do a reduced. What I'll do is I'm just going to do a quick shout out. So I'm not going to do the full-fledged shout outs that I usually do. And then folks, if you have any last minute comments and you want to post, please do so. I'm just going to post a couple of shout outs really quickly. And then I'll come back to any comments that are in the chat. So just bear with me one moment while I do that. And I just want to give in regards to shout outs, I want to give a shout out to my friends Mike and Mary Beth from Sci-Fi Distilled. They are on Wednesday nights and they usually do shows of the 80s, 90s and beyond. They are going to be doing a show this Wednesday, which is going to be the 31st, talking about the end of the year. I believe they're going to be on at 7 p.m. as they normally are, and topic to be determined. So stay tuned on that. You can catch them on Facebook and you can also catch them on YouTube. And again, that's Sci-Fi Distilled with Mike and Mary Beth. Also want to give a shout out to my friend and my co-host, Ross Amico. For the folks that know Ross, Ross does shows on his own and he does them. You can go to he's got two things going on. If you go to his Facebook site, he does have a Facebook page, which is called Classic Ross Amico. Ross is a lover of classical music and he's an encyclopedia of knowledge when it comes to classical music. So you can definitely check out his posts out there. He also has a newly formed website. I will start sharing that address on the next show. Now, what the shows that Ross there are 3 of them. There's Picture Perfect, which is on Friday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. He also does Sweetness and Light, which is on Saturdays at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then he also does The Lost Chord, which is on Saturdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And again, the URL for listening to his shows is kwax.uoregon.edu. And again, that's Ross. Now, the other thing I want to do is let everybody know Ross and I will be back, and it will be on Friday, January 2nd. And it will be at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I know for our folks that are in the UK, it is a little bit later. And again, when you are able to, tune in, it's much appreciated. And again, you can even catch us on the rewind. But Ross and I are going to be doing our 285th episode, and it's going to be remembering Gil Gerard. So I just want to do kind of like a tribute to Gil. Just we were talking about his passing, and this was one that hurt too. Again, I mean, Buck Rogers, I remember watching it on Thursday nights, 8 p.m. on NBC, at least in the U.S. And I was a first season lover of the show. Second season, not so much, but I still watched it because it was, Buck Rogers, and I enjoyed it. So anyway, we'll be talking about him, and that'll be this coming Friday. So I hope you're able to tune in. And thanks for that. And let me just get a few last minute comments. I see Sherry's out there. Hi, hun. She's saying, hi, guys. Sorry I wasn't on tonight. Wasn't feeling
good. Sherry.
Have a happy new year, Warren. Francine is saying, and same to you, Brian, and everyone, and peace on earth. And John is saying, yes, it did hurt. Can't wait to see your tribute. Thank you so much, Don. Much appreciated. And let me see here. Poon Kitty's saying, happy new year to everyone a little early. Yes, Mark Anthony Craig's dioramas are chillingly uncanny. They are amazing. Absolutely. John saying, thanks, guys. This was great fun. Glad you enjoyed it. Really appreciate everybody being here. Brian saying, wishing you all a very happy new year. All the best for 2026 and see you all in Manchester. And I think I answered the question about the next show. Thanks, Nick, for asking. Dennis Chevalier saying, live long and prosper, everyone, and happy, great new year. Now, so I think I got everybody caught up there. Any last minute comments, Warren?
Would you mind if I shared something real quick, about 2 minutes?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
Yep. Just real quick, we'll finish off with a bang here. This came up in conversation during this segment. There it is. Can you see that, Roy?
I can see the screen, yes.
Okay. Here's a little teaser trailer we did for Return to Moonbase Alpha.
Status report, Dr. Robert Mathias recording. September 13th, 1999. A tragic day in history that changed all our lives forever. Exactly 50 years ago today. While our first 25 years were spent wandering the vastness of space, the remainder of that time has been spent here on Terra Alpha. And with many of us divided on whether or not we should have settled here in the first place. Although we've faced many challenges, we've adapted and grown into a thriving community once again. In the last few years, we've even discovered remnants of an ancient civilization buried beneath the surface. In a few months' time, the moon will be returning. Its slingshot trajectory will bring it just close enough for reconnaissance, but sadly, for the last time. After that, it will be hurled even deeper into the cosmos, likely never to return. We don't know where the moon's been or what it's encountered in all that time. But recently, a few of us have made a very hard decision. We're going back. We've chosen to continue the journey along with our families. Mysteries and wonders await us. We'll find out soon enough, together. It's hard to believe, but after all these years, we're going back to Moonbase Alpha.
Very cool.
Yeah, there we go. Thanks ever so much for Roy again for everything today. This has been a fantastic broadcast, and I've just had the greatest time reconnecting with everybody out there during the holiday season.
Thanks, Warren. Thanks for coming on to tell everybody about it. And yeah, it's crazy. I mean, 9 months away, and time is just going by. And I can't believe we're talking about September of 2026. It's just amazing.
Yep.
But no, thank you for that, and thanks for coming on and to share all the information. Heather, I saw your comment. Thank you so much, Heather. Thanks.
Oh, Heather is out there. Hey, sis.
Very, very nice. And just last minute comments that just came through. Brian Jackson said, amazing, just brilliant. Dave said, this is brilliant. And Nick McCarthy said, very nice. So anyway, I want to thanks again, Warren, for being on. I want to say thank you to everybody that came on in the comments, and thanks for watching. And if you're catching this on the rewind, hope you enjoy it. And yeah, and I guess I will not see anybody unless I do maybe I don't know, maybe I'll come on just for a little bit on New Year's Eve. We'll see. But
on New Year's Eve, I was going to say Happy New Year to everybody.
Yeah,
Sure.
Yeah. Otherwise, Happy New Year's to everybody, and be safe. hopefully 2026 is a wonderful year. I mean, me personally, I just can't wait till 2025 is done. I almost just want to like, there's just, I just want to just put my seatbelt on and just, cross the galactic barrier, since we're talking about Star Trek so much today, cross the galactic barrier and just go over the hump from 25 to 26, because it's been a roller coaster ride for sure.
Roy, 2026 is going to be your year. I promise.
God, I hope so. I hope it, and that goes out to, my entire family, because it's been a whopper, as as so many people know, my family and family of friends know. So anyway, wishing all the best, and thanks again, Warren. And as always, folks, live long and prosper.
Live long and prosper, everybody. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everyone. Take care.